What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Boiler Up with Rapheal Davis show, brought to you by the Field of 68 Podcast Network. Make sure you check us out, RaphealDavisBasketball.com. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, like, comment, leave a review. Today we got a special guest, real special guest, someone from my hometown, someone that I grew up watching his family members play ball, seeing the work that the family put in. A family that, me and my buddies always looked to, and we looked at them dudes. They worked hard, you know what I mean? So, nonetheless, Anthony Spencer, appreciate you joining us. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm doing well, bro. I appreciate you having me on.
No problem. How you living right now in COVID? I know you're down in Dallas. You guys went through a storm, COVID. What's all going on?
Man, it's been a crazy year, I'd say, just with the COVID being in the house all the time, and then the ice storm that we just had. We had some pipes bust, and we was out without power for a little while. So it's definitely different from an Indiana weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. And so did you just stay in Dallas after you finished playing ball?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got 2 kids now. I'm married. My wife from out here, and I wasn't trying to go back to the cold either. So my mom is still up there. I get to visit, and I go up there and hang out during the summertime. It's super nice. When it gets too hot down here, I go up there, and vice versa. When it gets really cold up there, she come down here. So it's a good mix for us.
That's dope. And Anthony, I know, like I said, a lot of Purdue fans, like I was telling you before, a lot of Purdue fans are interested in this podcast because we get to see not only from the players that we love, but kind of about the person behind the player. So for you, being as dominant as you were in football, you come off as a calm guy. For you, kind of, where did you come up? When did you know football was for you? What type of influence did you have leading the football coming up, growing up?
Oh, man. Football and sports in general, it wasn't really something, because first off, like, my grades was never on point, because I always went to the private school. So they had it where if your grades went over a certain average, then you weren't able to play. So throughout grade school, I wasn't able to play, but in high school, I was able to get my stuff together and able to get on the field a little bit. And after my very first varsity game, I was in the paper and stuff, and my mom came home and she was like, she asked me how the game went. I was like, I did good. And then she went to work that night, and she came back, and everybody was talking about how good I had done. And she was like, bro, you didn't tell me none of this. So after that, I really, that's when I really knew I had something that I enjoyed, and because I didn't really want anything from it. I just enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed hanging out with my friends. I enjoyed the competition that came with it. So yeah, that was when I really started falling in love with it.
No, that's what's up. And doing something kind of out of passion, it really kind of necessarily never felt like work. It seems like you started a little late getting on the field, so something you was doing for fun. When did recruiting start for you? And how was that kind of that transition? Because I know and I'm gonna cut you off, but I know a lot of guys grow up, they always think about being recruited. They always think about getting those letters. But for you, it seems like things just happen naturally. So how was that transition? And now I'm a top dog.
So recruiting started probably because when I think Javon Witherspoon was there when I was a sophomore. Yeah, so he was getting recruited by a lot of different teams and whatnot. And so they would come and then they would look at the younger players during that time. And so I started to get a little mails and stuff during my late sophomore, junior year. But I didn't know what any of it meant. I didn't know, going to college. I just didn't know. I was just ignorant to it all. So it wasn't until going into my senior year that I started going to camps and then really seeing all the hype that came with it, being on the campuses and seeing all the players and the stadiums and all the fans and all that stuff that came along with it. So for the most part, when that happened though, like I said, my grades weren't always great. So I really started to have to pay attention to that stuff, really what I was doing in the school, to make sure that I was able to have the opportunity to go and play after high school. So, yeah.
And when did Purdue come in the mix? When Purdue came in, did you know that was the fit? Was you thinking somewhere else first? Because I know I was talking to Bernard. Bernard said, I want to say Bernard was committed to IU or something like that. Then he chose Purdue. So how was that for you?
I was getting recruited, but by that time, like this was going into my senior year. Like I had gone to some camps. I went to Michigan State camp. I went to IU camp. I was going to all the Big Ten camps, and so I started getting offers when I was going to the camps. Like I went to Michigan. Like I really thought that I was going to go to Michigan State. Like that was my school that I was like I wanted to go to. Like when I went there, I was like, oh yeah, this is my spot. But then like my grades and like after like halfway through my junior going into my senior year, my grades, I had took the SAT. I didn't have like it was just one matching up. So but with Purdue, like they Coach Hagan, like he was like, yo, you need to take this class over. You need to go take this prep course so you can do better on your SATs. Look into the ACT. I mean, he just started giving me all this information that really helped me to be able to get into college. And with that, like that me knowing that they wanted me and like to help me to get to that point, like, and I did all that stuff and I was able to be eligible. And then once that became, I was like, I'm going to Purdue. Like there's no question, because a lot of those schools like Michigan State's, the Texas A&M's and all those other schools, like they was like, yo, we like, you're not going to be eligible. So they fell back a lot. So in Purdue, they stuck with me the whole time. And with that kind of commitment to me early, like I was like, I had no doubt of where I was going.
No, that's real. And that's they showed that they wanted you just as much as you wanted to be in college. You know what I mean? They showed you a way that they could help you get to where you wanted to be. And that's real cool. And I mean, you leave Purdue MVP of the team. Your fifth senior year. I mean, your fifth year. You're MVP of the team. But so you obviously leave on a high note. You leave the man on campus. You leave MVP. But you come on campus as a freshman. Kind of talk about that. Because you go from – you kind of essentially you're getting to choose where you want to go. You choose Purdue, they help you out, but they help you because they want you there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they want you there, and now you're there. How was that?
My very first day on Purdue was like a real eye opener, because it was like I walked down into the eating hall, where I forget what we used to call it, but I go down in there and like I'm standing at the end of the line, like I'm like the last person to show up. I'm in the way back of the line, and like halfway up the line, like one of the seniors, Nico Kudavides, I remember this like to this day. And Dre Chathams had been there, like he was a freshman coming in, and he was talking shit to, or I'm sorry, he was talking to Nico, and Nico turned around, grabbed his nigga, like, and then threw him up against the wall. Like, yo, don't you ever talk to me like, and at this point, like, I'm a freshman, I'm coming in, I'm like, yo, like, this is wild, you know what I mean? So it was just like a real eye-opening, like, yo, like, this is like a gladiator, it's like, the strongest will survive out here, you know what I mean? So that was real eye-opening to me at that point. I was like, yo, I need to, like, at that point, I realized I kept, like, I'm quiet. So I kept to myself, you know what I mean? I worked hard. I did what I needed to do. I didn't really mess around with nobody. But as I got older and I got stronger and I started to, like, because you gotta search yourself in those types of situations, you know what I mean? So as I started to get into that and become, like, I became more, you know what I mean? Like, you grow with confidence. You find yourself in those situations.
Yo, that's real. I get exactly what you're saying, man. No, straight up. Especially 'cause I'm the same way. I'm more reserved. I didn't talk much. Just for a freshman to be able to see something like that first day. Yeah, that would
took my first experience, and I'm just like, okay.
Like, and we just eating food.
Right, yeah.
We're not even in the locker room.
Yeah, we're not in the locker room yet. Like, I just got here. My mom just dropped me off. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you going yet? Hold up.
Oh, I'm at the wrong place.
Right.
They wasn't like this on my visit, Ma.
Yeah, no. Funny, I mean, it was like that. My whole Purdue experience, man, like it was a real growing, like me becoming a man and really coming to myself and finding my own voice and who I wanted to be in the world. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. And Coach Hagan, for him, what type of influence do you say he played in your life or for you at your time?
He was, I mean, all the different coaches that I had, they all played different roles, you know what I mean? Because they all were different, you know what I mean? Right. So some of them was like, yo, they would try to coach you up with positive, and you know what I mean? They give you like what you did right, what you did good, you know what I mean? But he was one of them, like, a yeller, he was a screamer, like he got after you. I mean, and being able to adapt to each one of those different types of coaching styles really helps you to adapt to life. You know what I mean? Because everybody in this world is different, and you have to be able to take what they're saying with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? You have to hear what they're saying, but at the same time, implement what you feel is necessary for you to be the player or person that you want to be in the field of play. You know what I mean? So
no doubt.
Each of them was different. All of them brought positivity with their negativity, or however they wanted to bring it. Yeah, I mean, they all helped in a way.
That's real. And obviously they helped in a way to get you on the field. You start playing, you start making some waves. So what's that like being a guy as a freshman? You grow into who you are. Now you're making waves. Let's kind of talk about that, kind of the time you put in to get to be the player that you were on the field early in college, the work that you put in your freshman year.
Man, my freshman year, it was awesome because it was like I had 3 square meals a day. I was able to get up. I worked out. Like they had me on a regiment. So it was like my first year, I came in there, I was like 230. By the end of the season, I was 250. I was solid. Yeah, I mean, I was just on a regimen, and I listened and I did what they wanted me to do. But as in going into my sophomore season, I was slated to be the starter going into that season, but I ended up having like a Liz Frank fracture in my foot. So I ended up having to sit out my whole sophomore season because I hurt it in spring ball of that year. And just that, yeah, I mean, that setback, it was like, yeah, I mean, it just teach you about life. Like no matter how much you put into it, no matter how much you do, like it's always going to be shit that's not going to go your way. The things that's going to put you back where you don't want to be. So I was back hurt. I mean, I had to find my way, rehab, doing all that stuff. And I mean, it was a great experience, but at the same time, it was hard, and it really taught me that life is hard, and it's only going to be what you make it.
That's what's up. And then, I mean, obviously, you played in a good league. You played in a good conference at a good time. Mm-hmm. What were some of those matchups that you remember? Who were some of those teams that either you looked forward to going to play against them, or some of those players that just stick out in your mind?
Man, I always loved playing against Notre Dame because being from Fort Wayne, you know, everybody up there, like they always on Notre Dame. So that was some of the first games that I was able to go see because of my friends, like their family would have tickets and we would go tailgate but I didn't get recruited by them. So I was like, yo, like I'm good enough to be up in here. So every time I went up in there and played, I felt like I had a chip on my shoulder. So those was always some awesome games to be in, and just reminiscing me sitting in the stands as a kid, because I would always take a moment wherever stadium I was at just to look into the crowd and just, just take in the experience, like that, just being in the moment and really experiencing the crowd and the energy that really comes with it. That's some of the best moments of like my life, just doing that and just being in the game and big moments and just like, yo, this is crazy. Just like a little kid and like candy shop just looking around. You know what I mean? So
yeah, because those football arenas are big, man. Like, I mean, those stadiums, those are huge. I mean, it's 50,000 people in there at one time. Sometimes. Yeah, man.
I played in some of it, playing. We went to Ohio State. We went to Wisconsin. Like playing in those environments and seeing, just having that energy, like it's awesome. Like that's what I love most about the game, is just the pure passion that people have about it. Like it was like the first reality TV. You know what I mean? Like it's real, it's authentic. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. You remember any hits stick out to you? Because I know you had some hits. I know you had some big games. Yeah. Any of them stand out?
Man, I always remember like when my very first time being on the field, I was redshirt freshman coming back from that foot injury. And I was dropping, we had a zone blitz coming. I was dropping like underneath into the curl flat area. And the wide receiver, like I'm just out there, like it was like the play was overdue to tackle. Now the wide receiver just come out of nowhere, just knocked me on my butt. And I'm just like, like the play, like, you know what I mean? That really like these moments is like, yo, you need to be on your P's and Q's out here. Like, this not practice no more. Like, these guys out here, like they playing. So it was like that moment right there was something I always remember. It was a little wide receiver too, and I'm big. You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah, he saw a shot.
Right. He just took a shot at me. So at that point, I always had my head on the swivel. Like, I was always out there protecting myself. Like those little moments. And that was like my very first time touching the field. And for that to happen, it was like, yo, wake up. Get on your P's and Q's. So, yeah.
Yeah, like, and I want to, like I said, man, you like, because, like, obviously, going to Purdue, you hear about it, you see your name up when you go on the mountain call. So, you know, I always got to tell guys, yo, hometown. You know what I mean? Right. Certain things I always do, that's hometown. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, it was always great, and it's always great to hear these stories. And for you to go through your career, redshirt freshman, end up team MVP, I mean, that's just an amazing testament of what hard work can do. And now that you're a little older and you look back on it, I got one more question before I even go move on. Who were some of your favorite teammates from that time? Just because I know fans always want to, they always like to see what teammates kind of hung out with who and looking at that.
Sean Phillips, like, he was a big role model for me when I first got there, because he was a couple years ahead of me, and just to see the way that he played, and because he wasn't a big guy, he was quick, he was fast, but he used his skills and to be the best player that he was. Niko Nikovic, he was probably my favorite player, just because my junior year, him and Ray and me, like, we all split time. Like, me and Ray was the starters, but Nico ended up playing more than what I did. So I went to the coach at the end of the year, like, yo, I'm the starter. Like, I don't understand. Like, and he just broke it down to me, like, yo, he worked harder than you. He was being real. Like, he was just showing me, and he was pulling up clips on the field. So I was doing my job, but I wasn't doing my job and then trying to chase the ball. You know, so going into my senior year, that was something that really projected me into being the player that I was moving forward from there, because it was like, it really opened up my eyes to, you doing your job, but you're not maximizing your skill. Like, you better than what you putting out there. You know what I mean? So at the end of that year, I think I was projected to be like a 6th round pick going into my senior season. And then I go back home. I work at General Motors for like 2 months, right, making like $17 an hour. And I'm like, yo, this is hard work. Like, and then at the end of the week, I get my check. I got to pay my mom back for some stuff that she paid for me, buying gas, paying my phone bill. Like, yo, I don't got no money left. Like, and I work, you know what I mean? I go to work and I come back home and I'm tired as hell. So I'm just like, I went back to college, like, with a whole new mindset. Like, I'm doing every single set. I'm pushing myself. I'm racing DBs. I'm having lifting competition with offensive linemen. You know what I mean? Every skill set, like, I was just trying to be the best out on the field. So, but Nico, his play and his the way that he approached the game, because he was a junior college. Like, he transferred in at the beginning of that season, and he just came on the store. I think, like, his last game, he ended up having like 5 sacks in one game. And I was just like, bruh, like, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the fastest, but he had a motor. You know what I mean? And that was just one thing that I felt like I lacked. And so he really, and like, just talking to him, hanging around him, seeing how much he just paid attention to his body, he stretched, he drank water. You know what I mean? Doing all those things. He, like, me and him, we still close friends today because of that experience.
No, that's what's up. That's dope. It's all, and it always, I mean, because sometimes it takes that guy to kind of see what you're not doing, especially if you can see it and not have, what I want to say, that envy bone in your body, that jealous bone in your body.
Your ego, like, you gotta really pay attention, like, judge yourself, be real with yourself. Like, are you doing what you feel like you're doing? And if the answer is no, then do something. Like, don't just make excuses.
And for you to even have mental fortitude to to even just want to go to the coach, because I mean, it sounds easy to say, yo, I went to the coach and was like, yo, why this dude not playing with me? Right. A lot of dudes will just talk about that in the locker room, talk about that in the dorm. Right. But for you to actually take your career and be like, yo, I want to know, what can I do? I'm on the field, but I want to be on the field. So, no, I think that's I mean, obviously you are who you are for a reason, and that's super dope to me. And you say you're projected to be a 6th-round pick. You worked, and that's that's big because you. That's real. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
That really showed me like what hard work does. You know what I mean? Like when you really pay attention to the things and just the little stuff. You know what I mean? Just like you got 5 reps on here, do 6. You know what I mean? Do 7. Like push yourself past what is on the paper. Don't just be average. You know what I mean? Because doing the average stuff is gonna get you an average result. So
that's real.
Yeah.
No, that's real. And you, what was that like? Because like you said, because a lot of what you just said too, I think a lot of kids should do, especially kids that think they think they're taking their sport serious. They should go work.
Yeah.
Because you went to work a real man job, a real woman job, a real adult job. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you was like, nah, that's not for me. And you took it up a notch. But what's that like going back? You took it up a notch. You projected 6th round. You go 1st round. What's that transition like going into the NFL now? Because now you kind of say you went seeing what you didn't want, you worked as hard, and to get what you wanted, you have it now. What's that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like it just catapulted me into the league because when I came in there, I came in under Greg Ellis, and he was recovering from a Achilles surgery, and he wasn't like so. When I got there, I was taking all the reps. I had all the special teams, so it was hard, but I feel like it was a necessary evil, you know what I mean? Because it really helped me to see the player that I was and the player that I wanted to be. And I thought the coaches that I had were tough on me when I was in college. I had Paul Pasqualoni, bruh. He would have me in meetings like in the back, like, yo, leave me alone. Like, I'm doing the best I can. You know what I mean? So, like, he was one of the realest coaches I've ever had to this day. Like, but he kept it 100. You know what I mean? Like, he had no sugarcoating and it turns you it makes you very resilient to things of the world. You know what I mean? So it helped me even in after football. You know what I mean? As things happen throughout relationships and with business, and it just keeps me looking in the mirror. You know what I mean? It keeps me judging myself and not really putting a finger on anybody else but myself to make a difference in my own life.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Cause you took it. You didn't run from it. You don't seem like the guy that was getting a hard coach, calling home, like I'm transferring. I want to be traded. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it seemed like that's the type of guy you were. You took it, it made you better. And talk about how big that is to be able to not only take coaching, but accept it and implement it into your everyday.
I feel like that's the most important thing for especially young players, man, because it's hard to be criticized and really hear what they saying. You know what I mean? You be criticized and your first thing to do is to throw up guard, like yo, that's not me. Like, yo, what you like they not doing that or he not, you know what I mean? It's very easy to look outside and point the finger at what is not you. You know what I mean? It's very hard to look in the mirror and be like, okay, I hear you. Let me look at that. So, but like I said, it really helped me to look at myself in every situation. Like somebody brings something to me, and if I'm doing something and they bring it to me a better way, and I see that it's a better way, like I'm gonna adjust. Like I'm gonna take the next step to make what I'm doing better. So I feel like it's necessary for you to grow as a person.
No, that's real, and I mean that's what you're saying right now. Because I know a lot of basketball fans that listen to this. That's exactly who Coach Painter is, and I mean, and not football, but my senior year, I think we led the country in post feeds. We had 3 monsters: AJ Hammons, Isaac Haas, Caleb Swanigan. We was throwing that thing inside. Like I would be open. I would be wide open, didn't even know it because I'm throwing that thing inside. And then they transition. We leave 2 years later, 3 years later, they get Klein and Carson, and they lead the country in 3-point field goals. So it's like Paint's not, and that's why I say Paint is one of those dudes who's gonna keep having success. Because like you just said, when you got something better, you get a better idea, you see something else working, don't be stuck in your old ways. You got to grow with it. And if it is a case, like this year, he went right back to it. We going right back to Travion. You know what I mean? So like you said, if it ain't, like a lot of people are like, I am this way, I'm going to run it my way, it's my way or the highway. But obviously you are a perfect example of when something's new and introduced, I'm going to master that so I can grow and master something else. And that's dope.
Right. Information is always key, man. Like, you got to be able to take the information for what it is. And if it's facts, then you can't fight facts.
Yeah.
So.
And what type of advice would you give somebody? Because especially, I mean, first round, obviously, you know what comes with that, the pressures, the finances. I mean, I don't know what comes with that. What advice would you give someone coming out of college, first round draft pick, or even second round draft pick into the NFL, National Football League?
Oh man, the NFL does a great job of giving information. You know what I mean? They have these. They always have meetings and posts about different jobs or experiences that former players have had. Like, they constantly letting you know about your financial advisors or certain businesses that are doing well, certain businesses that are not doing well. It's just being able to take in that stuff, because like you said, like, you being a first round pick is a lot of stuff that come with it. And a lot of it is all the hoopla, you know what I mean? The stuff that really doesn't matter, like that's going to end up getting you up out of the league. So really trying to pay attention to the stuff that matter and being locked in on information, you know what I mean? Just facts, like, just search out facts and be passionate about whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? Like, because nobody going to take care of your money the way that you going to take care of it. So even if you got financial advisor, ask them questions, ask them how it works. You know what I mean? Learn how to be your own financial advisor. You know what I mean? Because that, like, you work very hard throughout college, and I see a lot of, like, that was a lot of the statistics that they give me. People be broke 5 years after they out of the league, and you made millions and millions of dollars. It's like, you're not paying attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you doing all this hard work, but you're not really paying attention, like, to what the fruits of your labor. You know what I mean? You got to constantly keep an eye on, and it's tough. You know what I mean? Because you juggling a lot. Like, you got to stay in shape. You got to eat right. You got to do all these other things. And a lot of the money and stuff come with it, and you want to have a good time and celebrate yourself at the end of the year. But you see a lot, like, you hear a lot about a lot of those stories about people going broke and stuff, but just watch your paper, man. That's what I tell people. Just watch your paper, watch how it works, because the sooner you know how money works, the better off you'll be in taking care of it and being able to take care of your family, because that's a lot of reason why people play. You know what I mean? They want to be able to support their family and do for those who have done for them. So that would be the advice I give them.
Oh, that's what's up. That's great advice. And obviously, coming from a guy that lasted, and the guys normally don't play as long as you, don't last as long as you. What's some of the keys that you think is some of the reasons you lasted as long as you did in the league, or had that type of success, or even able to be comfortable now, like, kind of with your playing career?
Listening, man, like, communicating, being able to listen to the older guys, because they all have gone through certain things and experience certain things that they may not want you to have to experience. And a lot of people may hear or have a conversation, but they don't really listen to. And that's one thing I feel like it was big about me. Like, I'm not a big talker. I listen more than I talk. You know what I mean? So you just got to be able to listen and hear what people are saying and just learn from them. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I've always done that, because I've made mistakes that people have told me not to do, or not, like, I can handle. Like, you have that ego, and you got to be able to keep your ego in check, and just paying attention to the other people, like finding people that have had success in the league and just following their lead. You know what I mean? D Ware and Brady James and even the Ellis was big guys for me, because they had been there for a little while and they've had success. So whenever I had questions, because I'm always going to ask questions. Yeah, I mean, I may not talk a lot, but I'm going to ask you a question just to get your feedback. And I may not say nothing else after that, but I'm going to ask you the question just so I can see how you feel about it and how I'm going to think about it. So, because I really don't like, I like to ask questions, but I really don't like to share my opinion because I don't like to be judged in that way. Like, you can judge me about my football, but don't judge me about my thoughts, because my thoughts are mine. Like, they you know what I mean? Those real, you know what I mean? Like,
that's real.
My thoughts than what I'm putting out into the world. So, yeah.
I like that, man. That's honest. That's real. That's super real. And I mean, obviously, you in the league, you had a good time. The success you had, you have a good time, you take care of yourself. You seem like, I mean, a guy that's just detail oriented, take care of details. You kind of seem as though the littlest detail that matters to you. You know what I mean? You want to know why you're doing it, which especially like you said, the finances. That's important. People don't know want to talk about it, but that's really important. And you seem like you're on top of everything. But some of the when you were playing, what were some of the favorite cities you like to go and play in? Some of the teams you like to play against and whatnot.
I always had a good time when we played in Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia. Some of my former teammates from up there getting the cheesesteaks and just seeing the culture up there, bro. It's just different than the Midwest. And even playing up in Seattle, like that, I love playing up there. Like, their fan base is awesome. One of my favorite games I played in was in Minnesota, playing in that old stadium. Like, that place, we played up there for a playoff game against Brett Favre, and we ended up getting smacked, but I probably played one of my best games during the playoffs. I really enjoy playing. Like, I can't say that I've ever had a bad experience in stadiums. You know what I mean? Because I've always taken in the moment. I've always just been there. You know what I mean? I love the games and being on the field. Like, that's what I love most about football. Like, just having that experience and having the competition, playing against certain players, and you know what I mean? Because they the best of the best, the tip of the spear. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's nothing different. Like, you completely locked in. You know what I mean? Like, it's no experience that I can compare it to, because it's very real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this next comment may sound silly to some, but I've been in locker rooms, obviously not NFL, not that National Football League, not even NBA, but you see guys good enough to play on that level, but in the locker room, they don't always want that competition. You know what I mean? They like to just be good. They like to just be there. But it seems like you wanted that. You wanted that moment. You wanted to play against the best. You wanted to test yourself. Whether you win, lose, draw, you want it. Some guys just want to go out there. They see a matchup. They're like, I don't want to deal with that tonight. You know what I mean? So it's like you really took that head on. Is that something you grew up having or something you adjusted to? Because you started playing football late. So it seems, because to me, and I won't cut you off, and I won't talk too much, but to me, it would seem as though a guy that started late kind of got the attention late. They not necessarily prepared for that moment as if someone that grew up in it and, you know what I mean, always dreamed of it. You kind of just was like you're always happy to be in it and embrace it. Kind of, how did you get that mindset?
I don't know, man. I always played ball. Like, I always played basketball. You know what I mean? Being from Indiana, like, that was my number one love. Like, that's something that I always did. Like, I would just we'd be at the park playing. I had a basketball court in my driveway. People would be walking by, dribbling the ball. Like, yo, you want to play? You know what I mean? So I've always had that competition aspect. Like, even growing up with my cousins and my little brother, like my brother finally beat me in a game of basketball for the first time, and he called my granddad, let everybody know, like, yo, I just beat, like, and he was talking about how bad he does. He just undermined the last 20-something years of me whooping, you know what I mean? But it's just that competition. So I never liked to lose. And I see it in my son now, and I'm just like, yo, like, I was like that. So kids teach you a lot about yourself, because he was doing temper tantrums. Like, he just turned 5 last Saturday. He's 4 years old, like, throwing the controller and being upset. Like, I don't want to play this game. You know what I mean? Like, I see myself in that. So I think I've always had it. Like, I've always wanted to. I just like competing. I like it brings out a different side of me. Like, the quiet, reserved person that I am in person, I'm not that on the field. Yo, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna laugh. I just enjoy the competition. It just brings out a different part of me, and it's always been there. You know what I mean? And I'm not scared to lose. Like, I'm not afraid to fail. You know what I mean? So
that's big. That's real big. And then, I mean, obviously, through that, playing where you play for America's team, what is that like? I always want to ask someone that played for the Cowboys, is that added pressure being America's team? What is it even like playing for the Cowboys? I mean, always in the media, this, that, and kind of what's that experience?
It was, I loved it, because I didn't, like, I wasn't NFL fan. I didn't watch sports growing up. I just played them. Like I just enjoyed. I didn't have no expectations. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know like having camera crews in the locker room all the time was something that every team didn't have. So it was just normal for me. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed it. It was, and just being on a team with, like I played with Hall of Famers, man, and just seeing like their personalities and just see it. Like, and then when I was playing, that's when I really started watching the NFL Live and ESPN and but seeing how they portray people on TV and then seeing how they are in real life, I'm just like, yo, TV is so fake. You know? Like, how do you want to I'll watch football games like with no commentators. You know what I mean? Like, I just watch the games. Like I turn the volume down. I don't want to hear none of that talk. You know what I mean? Because you watching the game, like you can see like what's really happening. I guess from me being out there, like
right.
I commentate the game myself because
I feel that. Yeah.
I'm not saying that their opinions or whatever don't matter, but like I said, my thoughts I highly think of highly than everybody else's, and I'm not trying to be. I feel like everybody feel that way about their thoughts, but I really feel it's authentic. You know what I mean? Like it's like the original reality TV. Like you can't get anything better than that.
No, that's what's up. That's dope. And obviously now, all those stories, obviously now living in Dallas, all of that is super dope to me, man. And now you living in Dallas, you're done playing football. What are you doing now? Because I always let fans know who we be speaking to before, and I always see some questions in. So a couple of questions I got about yourself was, has he thought about coaching? Has he thought about being a defensive coordinator? You know what I mean? So have you ever thought about going back into football? Or I know you said your son is getting a little older now. Is that something for you?
I do. I think what it all takes. You know what I mean? Because I see the coaches that do it, and then them guys be up there like all day, every day. They don't go home. They sleep there. They eat there. Yeah. They get back. They go home. They go to sleep for 4-5 hours. They come back and they back up there. So I don't want that in my life. You know what I mean? I real talk, like I love football. I love the competition. I love talking about it. I love being around the game, but it's other stuff that go into it. You know what I mean? Like you can't not look at that stuff.
Right, that's real. That's real.
You know what I mean? So I would like to. I feel like once my son gets to an age where he's starting to play and he's doing that, like I would be more inept to want to be around and do the coaching thing. But right now, no, I love being around my family. I love having the opportunity to do what I want when I want with them and just be around. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us grow up and not have their fathers and moms and dads having to be at work all the time. So I had the position where I could be around my kids and enjoy them and watch them grow. But at the same time, I do some real estate stuff. I'm working on a Hot Works. It's a franchise that they have down here. It's like a hot yoga thing, like inside of a sauna. It's like 130 degrees, like that. I love it. Like it just going there and sweat. I just started doing this water tree life with my brother and my family. It's alkaline water that we sell up here, help balance the pH of the balance. You know what I mean? I get into things that I like, and I sell insurance. Like when I first got done, I got into insurance just because I wanted to learn more about it, because my father-in-law and my uncle had been in insurance for 30, 40 years, and they were very successful at it. So I got into that, and I love just information. So I be taking little courses here and there just to gain information about stock market, about bonds, about all just financial stuff. I do what I want, man. I find stuff, and then I just search out the information, and I just dig and dig and dig until I'm satisfied.
No, that's dope. No, I think all of that is that's how it should be. It seems like you just go out and get. You're not sitting around waiting for something to come to you.
No,
you want something, you want to know something, you just pick up the book, you Google it yourself. You're not gonna ask Facebook a question. You know what I mean? If you want to know it, you go find it yourself. And that's dope. And definitely anybody out there listening. I mean, obviously we got listeners all over, but the water, the yoga, because yoga is something that changed, I think, Purdue basketball, because hot yoga at that. we started doing it as a team at one point. I started doing it my junior year. And I mean, it just changed my flexibility, my hips. I believe it took me from not being able to play defense to being able to guard for 40 minutes.
Right.
Because it just, and like you said, people think of yoga, but I mean, I was in there with some middle-aged women, and I looked like a weenie. Like I looked like a chump.
Right, they working you out. Right.
Yeah, straight up. But no, I wish you success in all of that. Anything I could ever do to help, whatever, promote, just let me know. But anybody out there listening, definitely check out all of that stuff, especially for what you've done. With the joy you brought to a lot of Purdue fans. I mean, anybody should want to support what you've done. You know what I mean? So, and if you out there listening, definitely check out our basketball camps coming up next month in West Lafayette, March 15th to 17th, March 22nd to 24th. Then our spring break basketball camp in Fort Wayne, April 5th to 7th. We're still raising money. We got 30 free spots available now for our Fort Wayne camp, probably at 25 spots now. Reach out if you want to attend the basketball camp. But Anthony, for you to join us today was big. It was another check on my childhood list. Like I said, I grew up, your brothers, your family, seeing them, hearing about you. You went to high school with Coach Rare. You know what I mean? That was my high school, one of my high school coaches. So I never spoke with you, but I always kind of knew about you, kind of heard about you, kind of. When somebody from your neighborhood, somebody from your city makes it to the peak of their profession, you know what I mean? And somebody sees that in you, Coach Rare would always give, well, Anthony don't walk down the street like that. So, you know what I mean? So, you know, something like that. But so I know I appreciate you from going to Purdue, seeing somebody get almost beat up the first day, leaving as a team MVP, the NFL career you had. I appreciate it for Wayne. For Wayne, appreciate it. Purdue, appreciate it. Thank you, bro. We appreciate you joining us.
Bro, I appreciate you having me on. It was an honor, man. I'm definitely going to be tuning in.
Oh, no, I appreciate you, big dog. If you out there, boil up with Rapheal Davis. Subscribe, like, comment. Check out the website, RaphealDavisBasketball.com. Donate to kids. A lot of kids are out there. They want to go to camp, can't afford it. Kids are at home. It gives them a safe place to go and have fun at camp. I'll see you guys next time.